And what a callous and cold-hearted response we got from Senator Colbeck. We have 38 workers on the MV Portland, 38 workers and their families who are facing a very bleak Christmas indeed. They're about to lose their jobs, and the response we got from Senator Colbeck was that it was very difficult and unfortunate, and to be telling the children of those families who are indeed looking at a very bleak Christmas indeed, a Christmas of glum faces, a Christmas of pretty sad tidings rather than glad tidings, that's not going to give them much cheer. To be telling those children that it's difficult, very difficult and unfortunate, and to be washing the government's hands and to be distancing the government from what is indeed an appalling outcome, where we've got 38 hard-working, skilled seafarers who are being thrown on the scrap heap. The minister tried to justify it and say that it was a commercial decision of Alcoa's, that it was a commercial decision that was in the interest of efficiency. That's not going to be much comfort to them, and we know that in fact it was not Alcoa's decision. We know that the responsibility for this decision sits fairly and squarely in the hands of the government, because it was the government that had to approve the temporary licence that was being issued to Alcoa. The government could have said, no, this is not justifiable. No, there is no reason as to why there should be a temporary licence issued. But no, they rolled over and they said, oh, in the interests of efficiency, in the interests of reducing costs, in the interests of ongoing viability, that they would issue this temporary licence. But I want to translate for people what this efficiency, this ongoing viability and this reducing costs really means. I'll translate Senator Colbeck's terms, and what he really meant when he says efficient, he means tossing skilled Australian workers on the scrap heap. He means replacing them with foreign workers being paid at less than $2 an hour. In fact, the information we've been given is that the workers that are going to replace the workers on the MV Portland are going to be paid 66 cents per hour. That's what is meant by this government's efficiency. That is an appalling outcome. It's an appalling situation that we are now in Australia, that in efficiency that we will replace skilled Australian jobs being paid a decent wage and having decent conditions with foreign workers being exploited, being paid at less than $2 an hour. And it's not just an attack on these workers of the MV Portland. As I said, it's a foretaste of things to come when the information that is there in the government's own legislation that we rejected last week says that 93% of the jobs in the Australian coastal shipping industry are going to be lost. They are going to be replaced by foreign workers being paid less than $2 an hour. So we're going to lose far more jobs than just these 38 jobs that are at stake this week. And it's not just seafaring jobs. In fact, it's an attack on all Australian workers, because if it's good enough for Alcoa to say we don't want to pay our seafarers decent wages, we're going to replace them with workers being paid 60 cents an hour, well, you know, it's more efficient to be underpaying truck drivers. You know, are they fair game next? Because these workers on the MV Portland, they are part of the Australian transport industry. They deserve just as much as truck drivers to be paid a fair wage. They deserve just as much as freight rail operators to be being paid a fair wage. Is it going to be okay to pay them 66 cents an hour as well? Or no, or we're going to be in a situation that those jobs, particularly those freight rail jobs, those workers are going to be out of work too. It doesn't have to be this way. Tomorrow we're going to be hearing from US Rear Admiral Robert Riley Jr. telling us about how they do things in the US, where they protect their seafarers' jobs under the Jones Act. Last week we heard from the Ambassador of Norway, who told us how they protect workers in Norway, and they pay them high wages and they've got a successful maritime industry. I implore this government to reconsider and to revoke the licence they've issued, to stop playing Scrooge and to give the 38 MV Portland workers the Christmas they
Senator,
deserve.
your time.